Hello, hello. Don't make me say oi. Yeah, all right. So now is the work part of our day, our business meeting. So I would like to call the business meeting to order. Do I need like a first and a second on that, Brian? Okay. So Brian, can you please confirm that a quorum is present? Quorum is present. Okay. So I'd like to start this with having Brian, our illustrious leader here, provide an overview of the Bisg financial results and the fiscal year 2023 proposed budget.
Thanks. You probably want the next slide. Yeah, small numbers. So we've actually had a good couple of years while you were away.
Kind of like the industry.
We continued to be able to add to our reserves, which was important. We started out with a relatively low number in 2016. We've added to it each year. This is actually the first budget that we're proposing that is in many cases a minor loss. If you look at the far right column, it's a little bit less than a $7,000 loss. We hope to do better than that, but we think that's a reasonably good projection. The proposed budget actually is down about $18,000 in membership income. That's not because we're down on members. We're actually up from 138 at the beginning of 2017 to 187. That's plus 49 over that period of time. But a lot of the revenue that we get comes from generally smaller members. There are many smaller companies in the industry. And of course, there have been consolidations, in particular, most notably Hachette bought Workman. Thank you. And Harcourt was bought by HarperCollins. So those kinds of changes are hard to make up for, given our dues structure. That's not necessarily anything that worries us, although consolidation is a consistent trend in this industry, but I think that we continue to look at our membership dues. Certainly, we haven't raised our membership dues pricing in more than 8 years. By the time this fiscal year ends, it's going to be 9. It's probably due for a relook, but that's something we would do in concert with members and communicate that fully. The numbers you see for publications, programs, and conferences, they're pretty comparable versus 22 budget, but they're significantly lower than they were in fiscal 21. That's largely a function of a Mellon grant that we got for studying open access. We were part of a partnership with Educopia Institute, Michigan Publishing, the University of North Texas, and Curtin University in Australia in Perth. To study open access ebook usage. It's an interesting project. We do them largely for strategic reasons. They don't help our bottom line very much. I mean, generally we're paid for the money that we spend. So it's reimbursed, so we can do the work, but we get a small allocation or a modest allocation for staff costs. So that's not, when the number goes down there, it's just really a reflection of where we are relative to the grant cycle. Things like cost of goods sold and the operating overhead are within reason. I mean, generally up a couple of percent or down a couple of percent. The big thing that drives a lot of our profitability at this point is membership. It accounts for 80 to 85% of our overall income in a year. That hasn't changed a lot over the last several years, and you can see the overall dues level has actually been coming down as we've seen more consolidations across the industry. And I expect we've budgeted in 2023 for the acquisition of Simon & Schuster. The folks from Penguin Random House might be going like this. But now we're at least planning for a smaller bottom line. So that's kind of the overview. Any questions on what we proposed? Or then Kathleen will ask you to say it's okay.
So does anyone have any questions or concerns for Brian about the financials? So the budget is approved? Oh, I need to call for a vote. Well, you didn't tell me to call for a vote. All right, so let's vote on it. All in favor, all in favor of approving that budget? All right, it's passed. All right. Yeah, clearly. So now I'd like to move on to the board nominations for our coming year. Our nominating process starts with an annual open call for nominations. So board members can be self-nominated. In fact, most candidates are. Most people are raising their hand and say, I'm really interested in joining the board. We have a committee that consists of past members of the board as well as a member of the current board to review all of the applications and discuss the candidates. And that nominating committee recommends a slate of new board members. So the candidates for the 2-year terms on the Bisg board, which start on July 1st, 2022, are and if those of you who are currently on the board, if you can stand up when I read your name. Andrea Fleck-Nesbitt from HarperCollins, Matthew Cannell from Versa Press, Joshua, but I'm going to mess up your name. You just told us yesterday. Bovair, all right. From Scholastic, Todd Carpenter from National Information Standards Organization, and Joshua Talent from Firebrand Technologies. Did I miss that? Oh, and so I skipped over Alan. I'm sorry. Alan Johnson from Baker and Taylor. Thank you. So we also have. Wait. Oh, I missed. I can't read from this. Okay. So I'd like a motion to elect this slate of board members. All in favor, a show of hands. All opposed? All right, the slate is approved. All right, thank you. So we also have 2 outgoing board members, and we'd really like to thank them for their service. Names and we have Michael Shea from Lakeside Press, and he's been a board member since 2018. So thank you, Michael. I think you're here, aren't you? Oh, he left? Okay. And Kelvin Watson from the Las Vegas Clark County Library. He's been a board member since 2018. I know he was not able to join us today. So we really thank them for their service. They've been very involved in the board and have really contributed greatly, so we really appreciate them. Is there any other business to be considered? Anyone want to bring up anything of a business nature, obviously? Okay. In that case, I'd like a motion to adjourn. Do we have to second that too, Brian? No? Does someone have to? All right, we have a second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. All right. So I'd like Brian to come back to the stage as we have some industry awards to grant today. Thank you.